Hi guys and welcome. Today's video is all about the brand new Dior Holiday that has just been released. I picked up a few pieces. Today I'm going to be using the Quint, the gorgeous one in Plum Parade. I also got a couple of the Dior Backstage Rosy Glow blushes. One will suit today's look, the other one not so much, because I'm also really tempted to pick up the other Quint as well. I'm not too sure about it. I have a think about it, but I wouldn't mind getting it. I think it's going to look really gorgeous because whether I do a cool or a warm look, I sort of like either one. I also got one of the Rouge Dior, the Sequin Liquid Duo lipsticks, which I have tried a couple of times. And also one of the Rouge Dior lipsticks. This is in the satin formula. And I won't be using this today, but I will swatch it so you can take a look. I may use it if I pick up that other Quint. So let's get started. I have all my base makeup on, although I don't have any bronzer on. I may put some on at the end of the video. If I remember, I didn't bring a Dior bronzer out. So if I remember, I'll grab one out and put it on at the end. I don't want to have any bronzer on because I'm going to be showing you one of the blushes on, and I want you to see what it's like without any bronzer. And as usual, all the makeup that I am wearing, it will be listed and linked in the description box below. So let's take a look at this really beautiful Quint. This is number 912 in Plum Parade. And it has that really gorgeous gold packaging. They had it last year as well. The only thing about it, it looks stunning, and I haven't touched the front of it yet. I have taken photos of this in natural light, but I was very careful with it because it does show the fingerprints, but I still think it is really beautiful packaging. So here is the beautiful Quint, and I love the embossing on this. It has the Starry Mauve motif on it, and it also has in here silver pearlescent pigments as well. I think the color story of this is just absolutely gorgeous. So this is a swatch from left to right, top to bottom, and the middle shade is last. So first of all, we've got a white topper shade. Next, we've got a really beautiful pink satin. It's more of an orchid pink, really pretty. And this one is a purple shade. Next, we've got a brown shade that perhaps has a little bit of burgundy in it. And then the middle shade is a deep purple, and that is a matte. I think it looks really, really lovely. And this palette has 7 grams of product. It is made in France and has the standard Dior shelf life of 6 months from date of opening. And I've said this many times, but even though it says 6 months from date of opening, these shadows last a lot longer than that. So I think the color story of this is absolutely beautiful, and I'm not quite sure where to start. I think what I might do is start with this shade here. So I've got my rephr number 14 brush, and I'm just going to start with this one, put through the crease and up onto the brow bone as well. This is a really, really pretty shade. It's like an orchid pink. It's so beautiful. So I don't think this is going to be as pigmented as I thought this Quint was going to be, which really suits me. I like a softer type of color story, but there may be those out there that were looking for something that gives a whole lot of pigment. But we'll see how it goes. But that is really soft. I don't know how well you can actually see that on camera there. I'm just looking at the monitor, but this is a very soft, really, really pretty shade. And at this stage, it seems to be blending really, really beautifully. I love the embossing on here, and that's not going to last, obviously, with the silver on here. But in it, I think it does have that silver pearlescence in it as well. So next I'm going to go into this shade here. And I'm going to put this through the crease as well, over the top of the other one, and just sweep that up as well. Then I think with that shade, I'm just going to take the rephr number 3, and I'm going to put some of this on my lower lash line. I'll probably put a deeper shade on as well, but it's so pretty. I just want to see what this is like on the lower lash line. Actually, just those 2 shades just by themselves, actually really lovely, and they would make a really beautiful soft eye look. I am tempted though to pick up the other Quint, the one, I think it's called Fiery Circus. Wasn't too sure about it at first, but the more that I look at it online, the more I think it would look really pretty. So I may buy it this week. And if I do, I'll do another video showcasing that one. So I'll just give my brush a wipe down. And next I'm going to go into this shade here, the middle shade. I just want to see how deep this one is. Seems to be picking up quite a bit on the brush. And we'll see what this one's like. That's a really, really gorgeous shade. Really gorgeous. And for me, it has just enough depth. Certainly deep enough. Perhaps some of you may want a little bit more punch from a shade, but I think that's just gorgeous just by itself. Now what's left on the brush, I'm just going to just sweep that over my lid as well, because I also want to use some of the deeper shade in the outer corner. I'm just taking a smaller brush. I want to go back into this shade here and just add a little bit more just up through here, just to add that lightness. And this is such a beautiful pink. I've got my rephr number 13 brush, and I want to go into this deepest shade here and just put, I'm only picking up a tiny amount because again I don't know how pigmented this will be, and just add a little amount just to the very outer corner, and just sweep a little bit just over the lash line as well. Then I've just got a clean fluffy brush, and I just want to just gently blend that out just to diffuse it a bit. And then I'll just go over the top here as well. Again, just to take away any of those edges and just to diffuse it a bit. Then I've got my rephr number 3 again. I'm going to go into this middle shade, and I'm going to put some of this on my lower lash line. I was thinking whether this shade or this one, but I'm going to try this one first and just put a little bit more pigment through here, just on the outer third. And I think, yep, that's definitely enough pigment, so I won't need to use that deeper shade. I think that looks really, really pretty. And finally, I want to use this topper shade. I absolutely love topper shades, because they just bring just that really beautiful lightness to the whole eye look, and that doesn't disappoint. That looks really, really beautiful. I'm also going to put some of that in my inner corner as well. So I've wiped down my rephr 3, just staying with that same white shade, and put some of that in my inner corner. And I've also just put a little bit through here as well. So I was having a look through the different eyeliners that I have, and today I'm going to use a Dior one, and it is, I think this one is called Matte Grey, and I think that will look really beautiful with this eye look. But I'll also show you another couple of eyeliners that I also think would look really lovely with this as well. So I've got the Chanel one, and this is Gris Graphite. So this is a grey one, but also with a bit of silver in it as well. And that one is really pretty. It's a light grey, more silver in there. So I think that would look gorgeous. And I think this grey one will look really pretty as well. And the other one I think would look quite gorgeous, and that is a Guerlain one. And this is Plum Peony. So any of these three I think would look really gorgeous. So I've got the Dior, I've got the Chanel, and the Guerlain, but today I will use the Dior one. Actually, I'll just hold them up a bit closer so you can see. So this is the Dior one, the matte grey. Next is the Chanel, the Gris Graphite. So it's a grey, but it's got quite a bit of silver in there as well. And finally the Guerlain one in Plum Peony. So I just use a small amount of eyeliner on my upper lash line and on the outer third on my lower lash line as well. And for mascara, it's not a Dior one, it's actually the new Chanel limited edition one. And I have filmed the video for the Chanel Holiday, and I think it might be going up after this one. I'm not too sure yet which order to put them in yet, but I absolutely love this mascara, and I think it goes beautiful with this eyeshadow color story as well. So here is the finished eye look. And I think it's really gorgeous. Now, I haven't seen videos on this eyeshadow quint being used, but I had heard rumours that I think some people thought the formula was a little bit dry. I mean, I wouldn't say it was creamy like YSL or one of those, but I didn't have any issues with it blending whatsoever. And for me, I think it has plenty of pigment. And it blended out really beautifully. You can see that you get this beautiful gradient through here when you blend. So even though perhaps not as creamy as some other eyeshadows, some other brands, I still had no issues with it blending at all. And I think the finished eye look is really pretty. So now let's take a look at these blushes. There were 3 limited edition Dior Holiday blushes that were released, and they are in 2 different finishes. So 2 of the blushes are in pearlescent, and one of them is in a matte. So I picked up a matte one, also picked up a pearlescent one. Now I will show you both of the blushes, but I'll only be using one of them today because one of them is called Fiery Red, and that's not going to go with this eye look. It would go more with that other quint, the one Fiery Circus, but I haven't bought a red tone blush for such a long time, and when I saw the shade of it online, I thought I've got to get it because I quite enjoy a red blush, and it had been quite a while since I had purchase one. So here is the packaging of these blushes, and it's in the limited edition. It is in a gold color. Now this one is the shade Fiery Red, and I don't know whether you'll be able to see on camera, but amongst the embossing there are these tiny little stars as well. And this one is number 850, and this one is Starry Mauve. And this one they say is a pearlescent finish, whereas the other one that I showed you, Fiery Red, that is a matte finish, or they say it's a matte blur finish. So here is Starry Mauve, and this one is Fiery Red. And each of these blushes have 4.5 grams of product. They are made in France, and they have a shelf life of 12 months from date of opening. So I'm going to take my Chantecaille brush and use the Starry Mauve one. I think the Fiery Red looks gorgeous as well, but it won't go with this eye look. So we'll just be trying this one today. I only picked up a small amount, but the other ones that I purchased earlier in the year, and I think I got about 3 or 4 of them, they're actually quite pigmented. And they also blend out really beautifully as well. Now, even though this is pearlescent, you just get this very, very subtle glow. Really, really gorgeous. Now, I'm not going to put it on today, but the Dior glow sticks that came out, I also think with this eye look and this blush, you could put a little bit of the lilac one, I think it's called, just through here, and I think that would look really gorgeous as well. But that shade is just beautiful. I think that shade is just so gorgeous, and it goes really beautiful with this eye look as well. Now there was also a highlighter that was released with this collection, but I didn't pick that one up. But for me, this blush, because it's got that really beautiful pearlescent finish, doesn't emphasize texture. For me, that's really enough because you've got a little bit of pearlescence and shimmer through the eye here. So I just think the blush by itself is actually really, really beautiful. So now let's take a look at the lipsticks that I got. So one of them is the Sequin Liquid Duo, and I got the shade Ribbons. And the lipstick I got is a satin formula, and the shade that I got is number 210, and it's called Circus Fini. So I won't be putting this one on today. I think I would pair this with the other quint, the one in Fiery Circus, but I will show it to you and swatch it so you can take a look at the shade. So here is the outside packaging, and here is the shade Circus Fini, and you can see the really beautiful star embossing on there. And this one is a satin formula. And here it is swatched. I think this is a really gorgeous shade. And because that other quint, Fiery Circus, I think it could look quite bold, then I quite like the shade of this where it's more muted. So here is the Rouge Dior. This is the Sequin Liquid Duo. There are 10 shades, and these are limited edition. Now I have worn this a couple of times, and this is the only shade that I purchased. I thought this one Ribbons just looked really, really pretty. And it does have a sparkle to it, and I don't know whether other shades might be a bit different, but I don't find that there's too much sparkle in it. Now, Dior also claimed that these are transfer proof, and they are transfer proof if you just have the lipstick on without the gloss. But once you put the gloss on, then they aren't transfer proof anymore. So that's where they differ from the Chanel Tenue ones. I really love the Chanel Tenue ones. I have about 5 or 6 different shades. But I do think the shade of this is really beautiful. And I also think the formula of the lipstick in this is gorgeous. It glides on, and it also feels really lightweight as well. So just like with the Chanel one, on one side you have the liquid lipstick, and on the other side you have the clear gloss. Here's the shade number 220 Ribbons. So I'll put this on and I'll show it to you just with the liquid lipstick before I add the gloss. Now with this, you put it on, wait a couple of minutes, let it dry, and then you rub your lips together so you get that shimmer to come through. So once it's on, you just let it sit for a minute or two. And as I was saying just before, the formula of this is just absolutely gorgeous. It's lightweight, it just glides on. And once this is dried down, this is transfer proof. Unfortunately, once you add the gloss, then it doesn't stay transfer proof anymore. The shade of this is absolutely beautiful. Now, if you didn't rub your lips together, you could probably stop it a little bit from those sparkles coming through. And I don't know whether you can see, there's a little sparkle here and there, but I've actually got to rub my lips together for that to activate. So I'm just going to leave it for about another minute, and then I'll show you the sparkles come through as well. So that has dried down now. And as I do that just lightly, the sparkles start to come through, and I'll just rub my lips together. Now, they released a liquid lipstick for the last holidays too, and those I think had more sparkle in it than this, but then it could be dependent on the shade. So there is a sparkle that comes through, but I think it's actually really pretty. And on this shade anyway, it's also really subtle, and I think it actually looks really pretty. And it's not too much sparkle, because if it was, I wouldn't use it for my everyday makeup. But I would use this shade not just for going out or holiday season or for the evenings. It's subtle enough that I could wear it during the day as well. So I'm going to do the kiss test on the back of my hand. I've still got the swatch here as well that I showed you. And when I do that, there is nothing there whatsoever. But of course, it's a different story once I add the gloss. Now, this one on my hand, that's dried down quite a bit now as well. And I put quite a lot on here, and if I slightly rub it, there is a little bit of the sparkle that comes through. But like I said, it might be a bit shade dependent, but the sparkle on this, you can see it, but to me it is quite subtle, and actually it looks quite beautiful. So now I'm going to put the gloss on. And the gloss feels really beautiful once it's on your lips as well. And I quite like the small brush that comes with this. I also like the applicator tip for the liquid lipstick as well. It's pointed, so it's really good for just keeping within the lines of your lips. And even though the gloss does look really beautiful, unfortunately, once you have that on, then it isn't transfer proof anymore. So I'll just show you that on the back of my hand. And you can see just slightly that the shade of the lipstick is there. So that's where it differs from the Chanel one. But the actual formula of the liquid lipstick itself, I think, is really, really beautiful. And the sparkle on this is subtle and just super pretty, and I really love this shade. So what are my thoughts on this Dior Holiday collection? Well, I think the color story of this quint is just really, really beautiful, and I think it looks gorgeous on the eyes as well. I'm not quite sure why other people seem to think it's a little bit too dry. As I was saying before, it's a bit drier than perhaps some other formulas of makeup that I've used, but I had no issues with it blending. I think it has great pigment, and I just think it is super pretty. Now, I used all 5 of the shades on my eyes today, but this one just by itself, or maybe together these two here with a little bit of the topper shade, that would be a lot softer, and I think that would look super pretty as well. I think this is a really versatile palette, and the color story is just absolutely gorgeous. So really pleased that I picked this one up, and I think I'm going to get the other one in Fiery Circus. The blush is beautiful. I think the shade Starry Mauve is super pretty. I love the finish on it, that pearlescent. It's not too much. It just gives a hint of a glow, doesn't emphasize my texture. I love the shade. I think it goes absolutely beautiful with this eye look as well. Now with these liquid duo lipsticks, I think the formula of the liquid lipstick itself is absolutely beautiful, and on its own it's fabulous because it doesn't transfer whatsoever. So perhaps all these are limited edition, but if they work on it so that the gloss over the top and then it still doesn't transfer after that, and also without sequins in it as well, because not everyone likes sequins in their lipstick, although this one is quite subtle, then if Dior came out with something like that, then I think that would be a hit. At this stage, I think the Chanel Tenue that wins over the Dior one, and that's because even with the Chanel one with the gloss over the top, then it just doesn't budge whatsoever. But the actual formula of the lipstick itself, I think, is gorgeous. It's lightweight, it glides on, it feels like you've got nothing on your lips whatsoever. So the formula of the lipstick itself is just beautiful. They just need to work on the gloss as well. So once you add the gloss on top, you don't get that transfer. So overall, I'm really thrilled with everything that I picked up. I love the eyeshadow and the blush and the lipstick as well. And I'm really looking forward to trying out the Dior blush, the one in Fiery Red, and also looking forward to getting that other quint, because I think I will pick that up, the one in Fiery Circus. And with this lipstick as well, I think the whole look is going to look really gorgeous. Of course, this blush is very pigmented, so I'd have to go very gently, but if you just do a gentle wash of color on your cheeks with that quint and that more muted lipstick, I think it could be a really pretty look. So let me know in the comments below what you've picked up from this collection, or are you thinking of picking anything up, or perhaps now you've seen this video, it has changed your mind either one way or the other. So that's it for today's video. I would love it if you gave it a like and subscribed, and I will see you next time. Bye.